Samuel's house.
There it is. Ooh, yeah.
Telling Cecil, when you're going to work some of your positions, like he was doing a punch, and I wanted him to kind of do the side step with a pock and a punch, or a pock out. It kind of goes back to some of those drills we were doing, remember with the box out the other day? It's like if I was here with you again, and you would have, say for example, go throw this punch here, I want to side step, let the hand go. So instead of stepping in from here to here, necessarily coming into the hand, kind of, how about from here to here? Coming forward, stepping outside. Remember we were doing that with the bottom side the other day? So an example, if I was here, and I go through the bottom side, you step out to the side. And re-clear that, right, and clear that line. So now, instead of now holding two hands, you should be hitting. Right. So now, as you go to throw that punch, I need to either A, bounce out, or as that punch comes, step out to the outside here, back to the outside. Right. Right. So the key with that is that when that punch comes, is to not just block the punch and then wait, and then or redirect the punch and then wait and then attack, but rather sidestep at the same time. So, and when I say sidestep, I don't mean necessarily just mean sidestep here. You know, everything we say is very two-dimensional, but then you got to kind of make it three-dimensional in reality. You know, so when that hand comes, I want to sidestep, and then I want to, of course, advance. This is what because of why I want to come into you. Now, the reason I want to sidestep is because I don't do this. Because it's too forward, and of course if you throw that hand, I'm actually getting hit right back. So I want to be able to strike you. You know, Gus D'Amato, the legendary boxing trainer, said the art of boxing was being able to hit somebody and not get hit back. You know, clearly that's ideal, right? But the truth is, and I've said this a million times, you know, you're not going to jump in the water and not get wet. You know, you're not going to be a boxer, get in the ring and not get hit. Okay? So we want to try to at least limit how bad I'm going to get hit, or if I do, can I roll off with it? Can I, you know, dissipate some of the blow if at all possible? So when that punch comes, instead of staying straight on, okay? So again, if that punch is coming here, there you go, okay? I want to be able to kind of almost sidestep and be able to come in on an angle to where you are. And the reason I'm using this hand to strike you is because that's the hand that's closest at this time. And because of how far you've gone off of my center, it's been passed over. In other words, this hand was initially the receiving hand, and then you continue to follow through. And once it passed my center, this hand took over as being the controlling hand, and this hand took over as now being the offensive hand. But let's reverse it a little bit, and what I mean by that is, this time when you throw the punch, don't pass this angle of my shoulder. So, but of course your punch is coming straight, okay, for demonstration. So your punch comes straight, and I sidestep to here. And now you're kind of not passing, right? Now this hand is becoming the striking hand. This hand is becoming the controlling hand. Why? Because this hand, this arm hasn't passed over the center line of my body. So I haven't now relinquished control of this side of the body and given it to this side of my body. That's why when we were in our Kuchimasu, we were cutting that center like this. So what I'm saying is this hand controls this half, this hand controls this half. And it doesn't only control that half for me, but it also controls whatever you put into my zone, you know, my box, kind of call it zone defense if you play touch football, right? When you put that hand into my zone, whatever's supposed to cover that zone is what takes care of that problem in that territory. So once that hand crossed over this guy's zone and went into this one, this hand kind of took over. That's what we call it, for lack of a better word, the passing hand or passover hand. You know, that always became a joke because, you know, me being Jewish, so I was like, it's a Passover hand, right? But it really does make sense because what I'm saying is, oh, pass it over, relinquish control, pass over. So when that punch comes again, I step here, it got passed over. Well, in this case, not too much, because in this case, I'm still keeping the same hand of control, and this hand is still striking it. But if you came again, and this time went wildly out of the area, then it passed over. This hand became the controlling mechanism. This hand became the striking mechanism. But at the same time, I'm always trying to bring my body forward. So the deal is this: if I do the same movement, okay, and I don't step into you, other than taking a single forward step, but not using my back foot to inch up. So that same punch comes again. I come here. This doesn't do anything for me. Even if I can reach you, it doesn't do anything for me. Because I want to be able to hit you where I'm still within the inch distance. Like if you just step back away, Okay, my fist distance is still intact here. But yet, if you were to come right back to where we were, I'm still pretty much right at the button of your chin. So now as I go to extend, there's really nothing, and as I push through my body, that's what's really getting me at this point. You know? So when that punch comes again, and we go from here, I want to be hocking and stepping all at the same time, so that when I finally hit you, my initial contact is from that fist, maybe to that fist and that thumb, distance again. So whether I use the bounce out hand, let's say from this side, if you punch from this side, and I step from here, even here, still that fist distance. I haven't struck yet, because why? I haven't stepped in yet. So once that hand comes out from here, now I strike, because why? It doesn't take a lot for me to strike. That's when you hear often they say, I don't strike, but the body strikes you. You've heard people kind of mention that. Or my hands kind of follow, but my body is what hits you. That's why, because your arms are fixed. You know, they're fixed in that fist distance. Now, I'm not saying fixed to the point of stone. No, they're springy. They have that little springy mobility. So when we say forward energy, we're talking about forward energy is meaning off the legs. My legs are propelling my forward body. And that's when we get kind of like that 70-30 stance or that 60-40, you know, where we have to kind of play that center of balance. But it's my feet that are propelling me. So when I go to take a step, you almost see my foot almost coming off the floor a little bit, but my upper body doesn't change. Because my weight distribution is enough that my upper body doesn't get affected by my foot moving down. When I do that, my body, forward energy comes from the leg, the rear leg. The springy energy is what is felt in that hand. So don't confuse the two. Because sometimes I say to people, oh, your arms are fixed, and this is where they are. And they're like, oh, but now my arms are stiff. And they kind of walk around with this robotic movement. No, you still got to be pliable. So it's springing. Why do I call it springy? Let's go back if you're in a bridge off, and I'm here. It's springy because if I feel you push into me, I can absorb. But if I feel you, but even as you push into me and I absorb, I still have that forward energy on you. Now, that forward energy isn't this. It's not pushing on you. Why? Because my legs absorbing it. So when you push into me, my arm is staying firm, not using strength, firm but not strong. But it's soft enough that if you were to all of a sudden change your hand position, that I can, you know, I can move my hand around, but it wasn't yielding where the hand collapsed. I let it go. So if your hand was to go through another position towards me, I can work that. And I'm still staying roughly within that fist distance where I'm still able to strike you. But at the same time, I have enough of that forward energy coming off that back leg that if that hand was to drop, I come forward. Now, why do I have the back hand here? Because even if your hand was to drop, often your hand's dropping because this hand's striking. So as that hand goes to drop and this other hand goes to punch, this back hand is that back door, and it's blocking this hand while this hand can strike. And then you get that idea of lince or dada, you know, attack, defend, one motion. So if I'm here and your hand pushes forward, I can work that. Yeah? So, and that's where I want to be. So even if the hand comes and I'm able to work, so when I feel your hand go to lose this hand, I can work that, I can work that. I can work this. Yeah? So we want to have that forward energy, but that forward energy is coming off the feet. The springy energy is that, lack of a better word, the tension that I'm able to give you on your arm by being firm in my position, but without using strength. Because the strength is coming from the feet. It's coming from the foundation. It's not coming from the hands. The only thing I'm doing with my hands is maintaining my integrity of my position. That's what the first form is working. It's working the integrity of your position. Here's where Tansao begins, fist distance. This is the maximum range of Tansao, but I'm still maintaining my integrity. Here's where Fuksao begins, pop. Here's where Jutsao begins, or ends rather. And then I can kind of almost reverse it. This is where Jutsao ends. And back again. So the first form is teaching you about the integrity of your hands. The second form, Chamkyu, bridging that gap, is teaching you about that forward energy and how to maintain that structure of your hands while pushing forward. Yeah? Where'd Cecil go? Oh. Abe Lincoln's doing a deuce. All right?